Hey everybody, this is David at Homestead Hacks. We're up here at Camp Haughtland, and what we've been doing lately, we've been cooking everything by wood. And if you've never had the opportunity to cook by wood, you would be amazed of the flavor. Now you gotta like a taste of smokiness, but if you want to mask that a lot, with your aluminum foil, don't poke any holes in it, and it will mask it because it'll keep it from coming up through the holes. But if you want more, all you got to do is poke a few holes in your aluminum foil. And of course, then if you would like 100% smoke, don't use aluminum foil at all. And I made some steaks like that yesterday. And I loved them. It was wonderful. It had a very smoky taste to it, which I really love. And I actually had started out with aluminum foil. And the heat got so hot, it's kind of, this is a learning process with this type of cooking system, because you don't know how much heat you're going to get, and it's different every time. I usually set it on the high setting right here, the highest it'll go, and then if I need to lower it, I'll lower it. But sometimes it can get really hot. Like I did have a really blazing flame there going for just a second, and then it's dying down some. It's very wet. The conditions are rainy, very bad, so everything is soaked. It was very difficult making a fire this time, and that just goes to show you, those of you that think that you can survive in the wilderness, you better think twice and do your homework, because it only takes one night of cold, damp conditions to die. So think about that when you're trying to make a fire. Now, when I made this fire, I had the opportunity of using paper, cardboard, and then getting a lot of dry kindling out in the woods, and which helped a lot, you know. But I'm telling you, if you're in those conditions where you're out in the woods and all you have is the woods and branches and limbs and moss and bark, which sometimes makes a good tinder in different conditions, different kind of bark for kindling, it still makes a difference when your conditions are so wet and been drenched for days and days. The wood that you're picking up is wet. Now, just like this right here, some of this wood has been cut and split, and look how it's dying off. I've built fires all my life. Until you come to a realization that conditions vary, because you can come out here some days. Here at Camp Haughtland, we make a fire every night. So this is when you start realizing and learning that conditions aren't always the same. They're not the same from day one to the next day, because some days you can build a fire and it's just like poof. It's just like so easy. It's almost like beekeeping. It's like beekeeping starting in the spring. It's all so easy. You can you put your bees out. You're in prime time of the year. Plenty of nectar, pollen. The virgin queens fly out, get made to come back. No predators, no dragonflies, no any kind of predators, purple martins, stuff like that. It's so easy. It's kind of like that. It's like today, everything I added to this fire was wet, and it was so hard to get it going. And that when you build these fires every single day and you realize how hard it is to make a fire day in and day out. And like I said, remember, it only takes one night of wet, cold conditions, and you're dead. Think about that. Think about that when you think that you can go out and survive in the wilderness. You know, people need to do their homework. We have an opportunity here at Camp Haughtland that we're learning as we go. And we're in the mountains of North Georgia, and we stay up here a lot. And we make fires every single night. And I've made fires all my life. I've cut wood all my life. My dad had he always made us haul firewood for a wood stove. And I've always made campfires. And most of the time it was so easy. But until you get in a situation where you got to do it every single day, you'll start realizing how hard it is in certain conditions and some days to make a fire. Everything's wet and it won't ignite. I had some dry kindling. It lit immediately and it took off really well. And it got the fire hot. Now, look, I even cheated. Look here. I even have a leaf blower. I was blowing it on there to get it hot. And yeah, think about that when you're in the woods where you're not going to have any kind of tools like that. So just something to think about. You know, if you want to, in days like today, this day and age where things look bad and you think someday you may have to escape out into the wild to get away from the, you know what I'm talking about. You got to think about, you need to study, you need to practice. And even if you're in somewhere where you can make a fire, I feel bad for people that's in the city. They have almost zero chance of escaping and surviving, almost zero. Where people in the country have very little chance as well. Even the ones that's been, we're the old saying, country boy will survive. I've grown up in the hills of West Virginia. I lived in the hills. But until you do this day in and day out, you come to realize that you only know enough to realize you're not going to survive. That's when the reality really hits you. And then you stop and think, I need to do more to prepare. I need to do more to study up and practice this routine day in and day out and figure out how to keep that fire going, because that's life right there in a cold, wet condition. It's rainy today, but we're in September here in North Georgia, so it's hot. I'm in a tank top right now. I'm still not, I'm not, it's still, I'm not cold at all. But a month from now, I'd be dead. So just a thought to think about when you're thinking about living in the wild or surviving or cooking and stuff like that. Just a thought. I just kind of rambled off on another subject, but I kind of do that at times. But that's about it. I just wanted to share that thought and put it out to everybody. And don't forget, please click on the little bell, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching Homestead Hacks.